they just mentioned Jax. I don't care if his person was not there. Just the slight mention of his name made me feel immensely better. Like, that's my baby right there. Like, yeah. So kind of an interesting premise, to say the least. Like, if I was invited to a stranger's house, I don't think I would go. Why am I literally gonna cry? This book is so sad. I'm so sad. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is super fun, which is reading Christmas books for a week. I did this video last year and I really enjoyed it. I found some pretty cute reads because of it. So I decided, why not do this video again this holiday season? I love Christmas books. Yes, they can be pretty much hit or miss, but they also present you with the perfect opportunity to read a cozy Christmas book and really get into the holiday spirit, which I just love. So let's get into it. So we are starting off this video by reading My December Darling by Lauren Asher. This is her newest release. It is available on Kindle Unlimited and it's a little bit under 300 pages, I'm pretty sure, which is like the perfect length for a holiday book. It is about Catalina and Luke, and Catalina is the maid of honor for her sister's wedding, but her sister is engaged to Catalina's ex-boyfriend, and to kind of add onto that chaotic situation, Catalina cannot stand the best man, Luke. So this book is a small town romance as well. It takes place in Lake Wisteria, which is the setting of a few of her other books like Final Offer and Love Redesigned. It's basically just this cute, quaint lake town, and I love it. This book also has a slight enemies to lovers trope. I don't think I would categorize Catalina and Luke as straight up enemies, but they definitely don't get along, so slight dislike to friends to lovers, maybe. I'm about 50% through this book and I am loving it so far. It is literally so cute. I really like Luke, our main male character. I really like his POV and I love how nerdy he is. Like, he literally bought an expensive Lego set because he wanted an excuse to spend time with Catalina. Like, that is adorable. is hilarious. This is why I love small town romances. So Catalina and Luke are literally making out on her parents' porch, and a neighbor drives by and yells at them to go inside before they catch a cold because it is like the dead of winter. Like, that is something that you would only get in a small town romance, and I love it. We love a man that knows what he wants and goes after it. I swear, Luke is like going through rejection therapy with Catalina. Every time she shoots him down, he's like, no problem. I'm still gonna date you though. Like, you don't know it yet, but I know it. So it is the next day, and I'm officially done with My December Darling by Lauren Asher. This is her newest release. It's a Christmas novella. I honestly don't know how I feel about this book. There were things that I really loved, but there are also things where I'm like, okay, this could have been better. Like, I don't really vibe with this. I really loved the main male character, Luke. He is such a nerdy guy, and I just ate that up. I'm really at this point in my reading journey where I love the main male characters that are like smitten with the girl and will do everything in his power to get with her. Like, I love that. At this point, I'm not really for the broody, non-committal types. I want someone who is basically a simp and will do everything to win over the girl. And that is the definition of Luke Darling, okay? My main two issues with this book is the fact that the Christmas, holiday, festive activities, vibes were definitely on the back burner in this novel. It honestly didn't feel like a Christmas novella at all to me, which I kind of love and hate because I feel like you could read this at any point of the year and still enjoy it. But I'm also like, I read this because it was a Christmas novella. I thought I was gonna get like Hallmark movie vibes from this, and I definitely did not. The other thing that really irked me was Catalina. Her commitment issues honestly got to the point where I was like, girl, come on. Like, this is an amazing guy. You guys have a great friendship. You have great chemistry. Like, we only got 20 pages left. You need to make a decision. You can't just leave him hanging like that. And I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if we would have gotten a little bit more of them being a couple, being in a relationship. But this is the novella. Like, stuff like that, pacing wise, is bound to happen because you only have so many pages to work with. So I don't really fault Lauren Asher because of that. I think it's just personal preference on what kind of pacing I like. I think for me, this is a 3 out of 5. I really did enjoy it despite all the faults, but it wasn't my favorite. I don't really see myself picking it back up again. It was nice. It was worth the read. It's definitely a good recommendation if you want something fast and easy and you kind of like that nerdy main male character. So yeah. So moving on, I think I'm gonna pop on the audiobook of Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. This is a Christmas novella, and it is the first in this collective series by Amazon Publishing, and they did something similar to this in February with Valentine's Day, but it's just a bunch of Christmas novellas written by a bunch of different authors, and it's part of a collective series. And I've honestly heard great things. I think a lot of people are reading them, listening to them, so I'm gonna pop on the audiobook, and yeah. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I went into this book completely blind. I honestly didn't know what to expect, but I'm now a few chapters in, and I feel like I have somewhat of a good idea of what it's about, so I figured I would tell you guys. So our two main characters are Jamie and Mark, and they are former childhood friends, and something happened when they were pretty young, and it kind of soured their relationship. They started to not get along and things like that, and so it's childhood friends to slight enemies to lovers, and it's also best friend's brother because Jamie's best friend Tabitha is Mark's sister, and it's also somewhat of a billionaire romance because Mark is a tech billionaire. He owns his own company and it's very lucrative. He's done very well for himself, and even though they are full-grown adults, they still to this day do not get along because of that incident, and they honestly haven't seen each other in quite some time until Jamie goes over to his house to borrow a pan. I'm only about 3 chapters in. I think the novella is literally less than 100 pages, so probably gonna finish it pretty soon, but yeah. I love it when a book has secret pining or yearning, and the fact that Ali Hazelwood is able to convey that and really implement that in a 70-page book, genius. Love you, Ali Hazelwood. Thank you. Thank you. What is up with all these main male characters acting like complete simps? I'm not complaining. I'm not hating. I am living for it. I love it. When I tell you that this audiobook is making me like literally kick my feet and giggle and just like get all giddy, I'm not lying. Like, it's so good. So good. Oh my gosh, you guys. I just finished listening to A Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood, and going into this book, I honestly had such low expectations. I did not know what to expect. I feel like novellas are a hard thing to write just because you have so little to work with, and then you add on top of that a holiday Christmas theme, and Christmas books are such a hit or miss for me, but I love Ali Hazelwood. She is such an auto-buy author for me. I love everything that woman touches, and this novella was no exception. I loved it. I loved the fact that Ali Hazelwood was able to really create a deep connection with these two characters in like 70 pages. In 70 pages, she was able to create such a beautiful emotional connection between these two, and I loved the past and present chapters. I loved the secret pining and yearning. Like, it really made me root for the characters. It made me believe in their relationship, and I just ate it up. Like, it was so good. For me, this novella is a 4 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It had me kicking and screaming. I loved the main male character. I loved how sure of himself he was. I loved how much he fought for the main female character and their connection as a whole. I think the fact that they were also childhood friends also really helped deepen that connection. I feel like they already had a great foundation to build a relationship upon, so it didn't feel insta-lovey. It just felt like it was a long time coming. It's a long time coming now. You and me, that's my whole world. It's in the hallway, she's a bad bird girl, okay. With that being said, I think I'm going to be picking up Spectacular by Stephanie Garber, just because I want to switch it up and pick up a fantasy, so why not pick up a Christmas-centered fantasy? This is Stephanie's newest release, and it's a Caraval novella, but it's Christmas-themed. Like, what more could you want? I absolutely love the Caraval trilogy. That is a 5-star series for me. I loved everything about it. It just felt like a magical, whimsical movie, and it has all these twists and turns, so you don't know what's real and what's not real. Basically, Caraval is this game, and you don't know what's real, what's not real, and it's about these two sisters who enter the game, Donatella and Scarlett, and that's all I can say. Okay, that's all I can say. If you haven't read it already, please go read it. It's so worth your time, and then you get to read Once Upon a Broken Heart afterwards, because those two trilogies are in the same universe, so you kind of get some cameos from characters from both series. honestly been a while since I've read a Stephanie Garber book, and I forgot how beautifully she writes. Each sentence has such a lyrical aspect. I love it. I just had to like say something about that. I don't know. I'm sorry if that's like something stupid to bring up, but I just love beautiful writing, okay? So it is a little while later, as you can tell by the lack of natural lighting. It literally gets dark at like 5 o'clock, so this is what I'm working with. But I'm about 50 pages into Spectacular. I'm finding it really difficult to focus. I keep getting distracted and getting on my phone, scrolling on TikTok for like hours. I don't know why I can't concentrate on words on pages right now, but I'm just gonna blame it on the lack of sleep I've been getting. But the good news is that I'm kind of getting into the meat of the story. Thank goodness, because now I'm like actually paying attention to the story and I can actually focus. So hopefully we will be making a little bit more progress on this book today. One thing that I really appreciate that Stephanie Garber is doing is that she's incorporating background information throughout the story. There's just some characters that I don't remember. It's literally been a year since I read the Caraval trilogy, and that series has been completed for way longer than that. So to have these like little refreshers are so nice. I swear if I didn't have them, I would be completely lost. Guys, I can't. I love that this book is illustrated. It's one of the reasons why I bought a physical copy rather than reading it on my Kindle, but look at that. That's Scarlett and Julian. Like, that is adorable. It's just so cute. Why is this literally making me want to read the entire Caraval trilogy again? I never annotated it, so if I ever did a reread, I would annotate it. Might be doing a reread. Guys, I am not enjoying this book right now. I am very, very upset right now. My girl Donatella, she is going through the ringer. She is going through it, and I just really feel for her right now. Oh my gosh. I thought this book was going to be lighthearted. I thought it was just going to be like a fun Christmas special. It is not. It is not. They just mentioned Jax. I don't care if his person was not there. Just the slight mention of his name made me feel immensely better. Like, that's my baby right there. Like, yeah. Yeah. So it is the next day. I finished reading Spectacular late last night. Going into this book, I was so excited. This was such a highly anticipated read for me. I just love Stephanie Garber and I love the Caraval universe. So to be able to step into that magical, whimsical world again and to see my favorite characters like Scarlett and Donatella was just the opportunity of a lifetime. And for that, I will always appreciate this book. However, I do think my expectations were just a little too high from what I was actually given. Don't get me wrong, I really did enjoy this book and I think it's such a fun holiday read. I also feel like Christmas themed fantasies are like not really a thing. So to have something like that made available is kind of a win in itself, I think. My main complaint is that we got a little bit too much of Donatella and Legend. I really wish we would have seen more of Julian and Scarlett. I adore their relationship. I just wish that we got to see a little bit more of their dynamic again, see how they're doing. They do make an appearance, but it's very short-lived. I also feel like the conflict that this book revolves around wasn't really solved, at least to my satisfaction. It kind of made me change my perception on how I like this character and how I view their relationship with the other character that they're with. And for that reason, I just don't think the romance is that great in this book. I also wish we would have seen more of Julian and Legend and their dynamic. That was something that I really was craving in the original trilogy. I wish their relationship was repaired and that just wasn't given in this as well. Again, I think it just chalks up to I was expecting a little bit too much, unfortunately. I was expecting to see all four of the characters equally and I just didn't get that. And for that, I only rated it a 3.5. A 3.5 is an amazing rating. That means that I really enjoyed it to almost make it a 4 stars. However, because Caraval is such an ensemble book and series, and this book only really focused on half of that group, I have decided to rate it a 3.5. I still really enjoyed it. I love Stephanie Garber's writing. Her writing is just so beautiful and lyrical, and I loved it. So moving on, the next book I'm going to be reading is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. She also wrote The Blonde Identity, which I've heard heard great things about. This book is described as Knives Out, but with a rom-com twist, with a rivals to lovers romance, and then it also has some sort of Christmas mystery. I love Knives Out. That is such an amazing movie, so I feel like anything that has similar vibes to that movie, I'm just going to love and eat up. A YouTuber that I really like, Madison Kate, I think is her name. She also read this recently and she rated it very, very high. I think it was like a 5-star read for her, which is crazy to give a holiday book a 5 stars. So I definitely have kind of high expectations. I'm definitely excited to read kind of a cozy Christmas mystery. So yeah. So it is the next day, and unfortunately, I did not read a lot of The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I was just so busy yesterday. I had to film a video, edit that video, and then get it ready to upload for the next day. I also had a few errands to run, so yesterday just wasn't the best reading day for me, unfortunately. But I will say, what I've read so far of this book, I really am enjoying. So the two main characters are both authors. The female main character is a cozy mystery author, and then the main male character is kind of more an action thriller author, and they work for the same company but they don't really get along, and they were both paid to go out to like England, I think, to go meet this person who's like a fan of them on Christmas. So kind of an interesting premise, to say the least. Like, if I was invited to a stranger's house, I don't think I would go, but I'm definitely intrigued, to say the least. Moving on, I just received some book mail, so I thought it'd be fun to give you guys a small little haul because all of these books are Christmas related, so let's get into it. So before we dive into this very exciting Christmas book haul, I just want to give a big thank you to Atria Books for sending me all of these. It is literally a dream come true. So the first book of this Christmas haul is The Christmas Appeal by Janice Hallett. The back of the book says, "One dead Santa, a town full of suspects, can you uncover the truth?" So this book is about a play gone wrong. I think they're doing like Jack and the Beanstalk for a Christmas fundraiser, and let's just say these theater enthusiasts have really petty rivalries going on, and during a performance, one of these performers were found dead on stage. So this book follows two lawyers, Femi and Charlotte, and on the back it says, "Join lawyers Femi and Charlotte as they investigate Christmas letters, examine emails, and pore over police transcripts to identify both the victim and the killer before the curtain closes on their holiday production for good." So it sounds like you get a lot of the evidence shown to you as the reader, which I think is so cool. I really haven't read any mystery books that do that, so I'm really excited to dive into this, especially because it is kind of a Christmas mystery. Like, that is so fun. So the next book of our Christmas haul is Christmas is All Around by Martha Waters. This is about Charlotte, who's a former child actress, and I guess she used to be in a very popular Christmas movie, and that's kind of what she's known for. However, when it got picked up for like a sequel or a reboot, she ended up denying the part, and it got out, and I guess this was kind of a scandal, a lot of negative press, whatever. So in order to kind of get away from this bad press, she decides to visit her sister in London for about 5 weeks before the holidays, and I guess she got left behind when they went to go check out Christmas decorations or something, so she's forced forced to accept a ride from some cute guy, and I guess he's the son of these two business owners that really rely on holiday tourism to really boost their sales and drive their business. And so I guess her presence of being in that town is kind of helping them raise money for their business or something around there. But this sounds so cute. It literally sounds like a Hallmark movie, and I love that. So the next book we have is Second Chances in Newport Stephen. This is about Eli Ward, a trans man living in Manhattan who hasn't been back to his suffocating hometown of Newport Stephen, Florida in ages. Post-transition and sober, he's a completely different person from the one who left years ago. But when a scandal threatens his career as a TV writer and comedian, he has no choice but to return home for the holidays. He can only hope he'll survive his boisterous, loving, but often misguided family and hide the fact that his dream of comedy success has become a nightmare. Just when he thinks his trip couldn't get any worse, Eli bumps into his high school ex, Nick Wu, who's somehow harder than ever. Divorced and pushing 40, Nick has built a world that revolves around his daughter, his father, and his job. But even a busy life can't keep him from being intrigued by the reappearance of Eli. Against the backdrop of one weird Floridian Christmas, the two must decide whether to leave the past in the past or move on together. So this sounds amazing. Not only do we have trans representation, but we also have a single father and a second chance romance. Like, come on, this book literally sounds perfect. So the last book of this mini book haul is Kiss Her Once for Me by Allison Cochran. On the back of the book, it says 1 year ago, recent Portland transplant Ellie Oliver had her dream job in animation in a Christmas Eve bookstore meet cute with a woman she fell in love with over the course of a single night. But after a betrayal the next morning and the loss of her job soon after, she finds herself adrift, alone, and desperate for money. Since finding work at a local coffee shop, she's just getting through the day until Andrew, the shop's landlord, proposes a shocking, drunken plan. A marriage of convenience that will give him his recent inheritance and alleviate Ellie's financial woes in isolation. Okay, come on, marriage of convenience trope. Come on. They decide to spend the holidays together at his family's cabin to keep up the ruse, but when Andrew introduces his new fiance to his sister, Ellie is shocked to discover that his sister is Jack, the mysterious woman she fell for last Christmas Eve. Now over one very festive week, Ellie must choose between the safety of a fake relationship and the risk of something real. Okay, so not only do we get a marriage of convenience trope, which is literally one of my favorite tropes ever, but we also get a second chance romance. This book literally sounds so good. The premise is also so unique and different. I feel like a lot of holiday romances follow the same template or whatever, like they all kind of meld together, but the premise of this one literally sounds so unique and also very chaotic. I honestly can't wait to pick this up. I've also seen a few reviews online just like raving about this book, so I will definitely be picking up this very soon. only 30 pages in, but one thing that I really like about the book so far is that the pages are so short. They're literally like 2-3 pages. So even though I'm 30 pages in, I'm like 10 chapters in, which is crazy. I honestly kind of love it though because it makes me feel very accomplished. So another thing that I'm really loving about this book are the police interrogation dialogues in between chapters. I've only read about 2 so far, but I'm not that far into the book, so I'm hoping there's more. But it's literally just a page of dialogue between the police investigator, Colin, the main male character, and then Maggie, the main female character. And the banter and the conversations are just hilarious. I can just perfectly picture all 3 of them in a police interrogation room, and yeah. Guys, I'm officially hooked. I'm about 80 pages in and we finally got to like the mystery of the book that they're trying to solve. There's also a lot of different characters that we're introduced to, and I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit hard to keep track. I'm pretty sure I already messed up someone's name. I think I said Colin was the main male character's name. It's not, it's Ethan. So I apologize. I am just flying through this book. I put on the audiobook because it's available on Spotify, and I'm just kind of like following along on my physical copy, and I'm not gonna lie, but that is literally the perfect combination. I feel like I'm able to fly through the book and I'm able to grasp everything, but I'm also able to kind of turn off my brain, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'm really enjoying myself. That's all you need to know. This book is literally the perfect combination of mystery and romance. Like, Ethan, the main male character, is such a flirt, and I am living for it. You're telling me we get Ethan's point of view in this? I literally could not be happier. Thank you, Ali Carter, for incorporating his POV. Thank you. So it is update time. It is also the next day, as you can tell, and I'm in a new location. I'm at my parents' house for the holidays, so that kind of explains the change of scenery. But I am 44% through The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it honestly took me a while to get into this book. I have just been really dragging my feet. I don't know if it's because I've just been reading Christmas books this whole week or if I'm falling back into kind of a reading slump, but I was just kind of not motivated to read this book at all until recently. I have definitely gotten to a point where I am like hooked. The mystery and crime that is kind of incorporated in this book has really ramped up and kind of become a lot more high stakes. Not to mention the romance is really developing, and for me, that is what I'm eating up right now. Like Ethan, the main male character, he is just a huge flirt and I love it. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm about 44% through. I think there's only 300 pages in this book and I'm on page 136. So hopefully we will be finishing this book today, but I honestly don't know. These flashback chapters about Ethan and his POV, I am living for it. I feel like I'm getting a whole different side of him, and literally the way that he interacts with Maggie makes so much more sense to me. It's safe to say that I love Ethan as a book boyfriend, okay? The one bed trope just entered the chat. I repeat, the one bed trope just entered the chat, people. Why am I literally gonna cry? This book is so sad. I'm so sad. I just finished reading The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Ali Carter, and oh my gosh guys, I loved this book. It is literally the perfect combination of mystery and romance. Not to mention the main male character was a huge flirt and I loved it. Ali Carter really cooked when she made Ethan, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Overall, I think I would rate this a 4 out of 5. Even though I did really enjoy it, it did take me a while to get into the book. I don't know if it's because I don't read a lot of mysteries, but following along the different characters, having to kind of use brain power to keep track of the clues and what is going on was a lot, and I really did have to utilize the audiobook a lot while reading this, just because there were moments in my reading experience where I really did not want to use a lot of brain power to read this book. So thankfully I did have the audiobook. That was really nice. And then when I got to the point where I felt like I had a grasp on what was going on, I would just read it on my own. I do think this is a great holiday book to pick up if maybe you want a Christmas themed read, but you don't want it to be overly Christmassy or too themed. I think it was a great combination of cozy Christmas vibes, but not to the point where it felt cheesy and out of place. So definitely give this book a try. I really want to read Ali Carter's other popular book, The Blonde Identity. I really enjoyed her writing style. I really loved how fast-paced and short this book was. Like, I will always appreciate a 300-page book, okay? So that is it for this reading vlog. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of these books, if you're planning to read any of these books. I would love to know. And lastly, make sure to subscribe for more videos and turn on post notifications so you don't miss out. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.